The Kids Online Safety Act is still a huge danger to our rights online. KOSA, a bill that would increase surveillance and restrict access to information in the name of protecting children online. KOSA was introduced in 2022 but failed to gain traction, and today its authors, Richard Blumenthal and Marsha Blackburn, have reintroduced it with slight modifications. Though some of these changes were made in response to over 100 civil society organizations and queer right groups' criticisms of the bills, its latest version is still troubling. Today's version of KOSA would still require surveillance of anyone 16 or under. It put the tools of censorship in the hands of the state's attorney general, would greatly endanger the rights safety of young people online. Interesting that it would put it in the hands of the state attorneys general, huh? Rather than any kind of like federal regulatory group, considering the fact that social media could easily be regulated at a federal level. It really makes you wonder if there's perhaps some kind of state political distinction they would defer to that would allow them to control red states' internet access in a way they can't elsewise. Online child safety is a complex issue, but KOSA attempts to boil it down to a single solution. The bill holds platforms liable if their designs and service do not prevent and mitigate a list of social ills, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, substance use disorders, physical violence, online bullying and harassment, sexual exploitation, abuse, and suicidal behaviors. Deciding what designs or services lead to these problems would primarily be left up to the FTC and 50 individual state attorney generals to decide. Really, here's an incredibly vague list of things we're looking to prevent. By the way, we're going to hand it off to the Texas AG, a person who has bragged that he would start enforcing sodomy laws if the Supreme Court let him. Senator Blackburn literally said she wants KOSA because it targets trans people. One of Postman Newsbreak that did the topic last year was Senator Marshall Blackburn admitting KOSA will target transgender content online as part of the reason she brought the bill. Used to protect minor children from the transgender in our culture. Again, Republicans don't give a fuck about pedophilia at all. They don't give a shit. They don't care if they're doing something like that. Like, I hate to be the first one to break it to you guys, but we need to restrict rights to protect our children is the first trick in the book. It's literally the very first number one thing they go to every time. Every single time, every single regressive policy, their first attempt at pushing it is, for the children. Satanic panic, going after video games, comic book censorship code, every single time, reliably. KOSA's co-author, Senator Blackburn of Tennessee, has referred to education about racial discrimination as dangerous for kids. Many states have agreed and recently moved to limit public education on the history of race, gender, and sexuality discrimination. If KOSA passes, platforms are likely to preemptively block conversations and discussing these topics, as well as discussions about substance use, suicide, and eating disorders. KOSA could result in a loss of access to information that a majority of people would agree is not dangerous. That's right, because there's no way to restrict content on Facebook for one state, but not for another state. What that means is that if there's a single state in the union that starts going after people or platforms who, I don't know, in this case, talk about transgender people, like, it could very well be that one attorney general starts mounting a bunch of lawsuits against Facebook because people in Minnesota are talking on a public platform on Facebook about transgender issues, and they want to make the entire platform anathema to that, you know? That's what we're talking about here. Yeah, it would be the end of the free internet, functionally. Stronger competition laws, comprehensive data privacy legislation. Seems like they're targeting symptoms and not the problem. They're not even targeting symptoms. They're targeting queer people.